Good morning, Misfits. It is 2A Thursday on The Daily Breakdown. I'm your host, Zach Bonfilio, aka The Misfit Patriot. Welcome to the LFA family. Good morning, P. Year Out, Eileen Jimenez, Lissa, Bad Moon, On the Edge, Irish T. Hodges, Bumba, Great Guy Gary, United since 1776. Amen, brother. Amen. Okay, let's go. What do we got here? Well, whoops, wrong screen is what we got there. Well, let's go. So today, want to trade? If you guys aren't aware of the Stock Trade Insider Trading Act that apparently passed yesterday in the House, there's some people that have an issue with it, right? So there's this sort of a double entendre, right? Um, when I say want to trade, I'm like, should we just like start trading certain people in the GOP and just saying, hey guys, you can have them. Also in the party too, like you guys want Nick Fuentes, like you can have him, like totally. We don't want him, right? Screw this big tent thing. Let's have a clean tent instead of a big one. I got a guest coming on, the Pew Pew Jew, Yehuda Remar, I believe that's how you say it. And because I've been telling you guys, I want to start getting on guests for 2A Thursdays. I want to basically try to get people in the gun community, pro 2A, at least like people who are, in the like the content creators that at least talk about 2A a lot, right? So, gonna have some really cool people. I think I got a couple of them lined up. So over the next few weeks, I think we're gonna try to have a guest every week on Thursdays for 2A Thursdays, and Yehuda should be here shortly. But let's start with the intro. Let's just go right into the wanna trade, right? So the House passed the Stop Insider Trading Act with a vote of 232 to 198. The bill also includes a provision requiring voter ID in federal elections. All 198 no votes were Democrats, right? That's so odd. That's such an odd thing to vote against. Not only are you voting against insider trading, you're voting against voter ID. Shocker. But who? All right, you know what? Let's play a little game. In the chat, if you were to guess, right, who do you think in the House on the Republican side had a problem with this? Right? Like who would you say would vocally come out and sound like they might be defending Democrats? Like, can we take any guesses? I know there's a little bit of a lag or a delay with the live show, but which member of Congress do you think would say, and like active member of Congress, not Crenshaw, active member of Congress? There we go. Crazy Moan McGroin nailed it. Crazy Moan McGroin, you win the prize of the day, which is being right. Thune Green Massey. Massey. Yep. Yep. Massey seems like he's really upset about it. Congress is not serious. We are voting on a stock trading ban for members of Congress, but Republicans added in voter ID into the legislation. Those bastards. How dare they? How dare they add voter ID into every bill like they said they were going to, because it's one of the most important issues that's like in the country right now. It's an 80-20 issue. It's a 90-10 issue on your side. All right. Not to get Dems to vote for voter ID, but to get them to vote against the stock trading ban so they can use it in the November election. Why do you have a problem with that? Why does Thomas Massey have a problem with highlighting the Democrats voting no so we can use it in November? It's politics, man. It's how they do it. I mean, you didn't seem to have a problem with weaponizing the Epstein files or teaming up with Ro Khanna. I mean, you play politics, you're a politician. It's really weird how Thomas Massey seems to always sort of like I wouldn't say like like the way that he messages the people it seems like his priorities are saving the Democrat Party, right? I mean, he's only passed one bill in 14 years, and every single Democrat in Congress voted for it. The Epstein Transparency Act. I don't know. I just think that's interesting. If we really wanted to ban stock trading for members of Congress, we would offer a standalone legislation that could get large bipartisan majority, and the bill would have a chance of passing in the Senate. But today, we have political theater cooked up by 25-year-old staffers. Dude, it passed. It passed. Yeah, it passed. Again, adding in an 80-20 issue to a bill shouldn't hurt the bill. I don't understand why he has a problem with this. Bongino has rated the stream again. We are taking advantage of Graham Allen being on vacation. Thank you, Vince, and the people over at Bongino for the raid. Appreciate you. But yeah, so Massey seems very upset about adding in voter ID to a bill. Weird, right? But let's just check his math, okay? Right? Like, because this is what I want to know. Why would that hurt the vote, right? So only 13 Democrats voted for the voter ID and ban stock trading. 6%. 6% of Democrats voted for that, right? Which means 94% didn't. If it's an 80-20 issue on voter ID, and I think that I would say that it's probably equally or higher with the American people to ban stock trading for members of Congress, right? Insider trading, stock trading, whatever. I would say that this number should be higher if they were true representatives, if they were representing their constituents. Nope. So Thomas Massey has a problem with us highlighting that the Democrats aren't representing their constituents so we can use it in November? Shocker. 13, right there. I don't think it's a coincidence, by the way. this Nancy Pelosi leaves Congress and they can finally get this done. So that's what I'm saying. I mean, if somebody can explain it to me better, then please do. But I don't see what his problem is. I guess you could say that what he's trying to say is if you wanted to pass let's see here. Okay, I think I get what he's saying. Okay. So if you wanted to ban stock trading, then you'd put it in a standalone. That way when it goes to the Senate, the Senate has a better chance of passing stock trading because apparently according to Thomas Massey, I think that what he's saying is he doesn't agree that an 80-20 issue could be able to pass in the Senate. So he's kind of right there. He's condemning the leader Thune and the squishy rhinos. But I like the fact that the House is putting this voter ID into every piece of legislation because it's that important. I think everything. Who gives a crap if we don't pass stock trading, if we don't have fair elections? Who gives a crap if we pass a housing bill if we don't have fair elections? Who gives a crap if the government even stays open if we don't have fair elections? They're trying to steal the country. And you want to help them. All of a sudden, Thomas Massey is all about, like the process and making sure that everything's, on the up and up. I don't remember him really taking this much caution when he was dropping, hit pieces every day, jumping on every single MSM interview he could, calling this administration the Epstein administration, doxing 4 innocent people because he read their names on a piece of paper. Like, I don't know, man. Is it just me? Or is this guy seemingly working on behalf of the opposing side? I think we did a good job primarying him. I think that was probably a really good idea. kind of like I was telling you. Yeah, you know, what do I know? I'm just right about everything all the time. All right, I'm not seeing the Pew Pew Jew. Let's see here. He is messaging me right now. Maybe he's got the link. I'm in the waiting room. No, you're not. Oh, you're not. Hold on. Hang on. I don't see you. I'll resend link. I guess he's waiting in a different waiting room. Give me 1 sec, guys. We're having technical difficulties with our guest. Could be my fault. Maybe I sent him the wrong link last night, but I don't think I did, but maybe. Here we go. Let's try this. Boom. All right. He should be here shortly now. Okay, so yes, we're going to be bringing on the Pew Pew Jew for 2A Thursday. So let's get you his page right here. There he is. Okay, I can hear him. Hang tight real quick. We're going to pull you into the show, Mr. Pew Pew. That's going to be your name, Mr. Pew Pew. Okay. All right. Sorry, guys. We're doing it live. And I believe we should be able to see Mr. Pew Pew in 3, 2, 1. There we go. Is it Yehuda?
Yeah, nailed it.
No, Yehuda. Okay, see, everyone calls me a Jew, so I gotta get the lingo down. They say like if you defend Jews or if you just don't hate Jews, you are a Jew. I just saw a clip of Nick Fuentes who it was like when you're doom scrolling like I don't even doom scroll, but like in the morning. I'll like put my phone down and I'll like watch a stupid video and I'll put the phone down and I'll keep walking around the house doing stuff. And then you know how it'll automatically go to the next video. So
Yeah.
I think I was watching some stupid, like dogs getting scared by their owners thing, and then it just auto scrolled, and it was Nick Fuentes' voice, and he's like, "So Dan Blazarian's calling me a Jew," and I'm like, "Yeah, but you're a Jew. You're 12% Jewish, and my dad's part Jewish," and I'm like, "Are we really having these conversations? Like, this is the discourse about percentage of Jewish, like it's some type of character trait, like pit bulls or something." I really think that we are. I think that we are devolving, man. I feel like we're getting into the idiocracy territory. But anyway, let's go ahead and have you introduce yourself. Here's your X page. Go ahead and tell the audience a little bit about you and what you do in the 2A community, online, etc.
Yeah, so my name is Yehuda Reamer, and I have a brand called the Pew Pew Jew. It began probably around 10 years ago, where I wrote a bunch of children's books on firearm safety and history of the Second Amendment for children. Since then, I've had 10 books. I work with Firearms Policy Coalition, Gun Owners of America, Second Amendment Foundation, and I'm a big 2A advocate. And I believe that all gun laws are infringements.
I agree. I agree. You can see behind me. I think we're on the same page. Now, with your advocacy or partnerships or anything like that, do you do any trainings? Do you do any types of events? Or are you more of just an informational advocate online?
No, I do trainings. I have a knack for being able to take people who have never gone to the range and get them very comfortable with a gun. I always tell them if they're looking for more advanced training, I know a lot of fantastic instructors here in Texas
Yeah.
who are much better than I ever will be. So I'll push them that way. But in terms of taking people for their first time, I have a knack for that. So that's something that I really enjoy doing. I also speak publicly. I mean, it's not just information. Next week, I'm going to Iowa for the Gun Owners of America Leadership Summit. The goals. I'm actually doing a book reading there for children. One of my books. So I'm out there. I do a lot of everything.
Sure. Now, just in case, is there more to that shirt? Because the way it's cropped, I don't know if we're gonna get any.
No,
Is it
it.
just does it just mean what it means?
Well, if you have to really read it because it's not
Oh,
I am poly.
I just got it.
Yeah.
Polyamorous. Okay, okay.
Yes. Yeah. When the polyamorous thing was a fad about was it like a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
and it was gaining traction. I'm like, well, I can love more than one gun. So I came out with this shirt, and it's fantastic because so many people have your reaction where they're
Yeah.
like, wait, is he what? What's he
Have you
wearing? And
got have
then
you gotten out on gone out in public and had, like, maybe swingers come up to you, or is it like
I haven't had no, I haven't had any swingers come up to me, but I do get a lot of looks because people are trying to figure out like, is it is he trying to be funny? Like they don't realize that it's polyamorous, not polyamorous. And yeah, I get a lot of really great looks.
you should get, like, a graphic on the shirt as well that's, like, I don't know, like, somebody, like, hugging 2 different guns, like, maybe, like, a
Two different
rifle.
guys.
Yeah, like, a rifle on each side, that would be hilarious. Um, yeah, man, so you were talking about other training, et cetera, et cetera. I take my friends because I'm the gun guy in my little friend group. I've taken out probably 95% of my friends, and I do the same thing. I just teach them, how to clean the gun, rack the gun, et cetera, et cetera. But I went and I took the sheepdog response training in over that Weatherford, Texas area. Have you ever been to that?
I have, and I remember you did a great job doing that event for a lot of Jews.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it was over Passover,
Oh, that's right.
so
That's right. You couldn't make it.
so I couldn't make it because it was over Passover. But
Yeah.
I would love for you to do another one. I'd happily come and join and try to get people in my community to go as well.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
think I want to start doing that. Look, the way that sort of kicked off was I was like thinking like I was originally thinking, all right, I'm gonna just get a few people to come down and I'm gonna show. And then I started going like, okay, first of all, I have I have so many death threats and haters. Bet you somebody's just gonna show up. So I'd rather go and I'd do it with like a professional training thing where there's a little bit more of like a lot more people with guns on my team around me instead of just
yeah,
me. Like
absolutely.
I didn't want to get Chris Kyled, like and then but also at the same time I was like, all right, I want to do this, but I also because I really didn't want it to be something where it's like overly priced or people couldn't take advantage of it. There was this post I made, which I was kind of trolling, where I was like, "Hey guys, you can donate to my buy me a coffee," and a couple people were really generous with it. So I ended up giving that money back to do that course. So if we were to do it again, it's a pretty expensive course. We'd have to figure out a way to maybe crowdfund it so we can do that again. So I'm working on it, but
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely. Yeah.
juggling work and this podcasting thing and social media. It's already a lot. But yeah, so I got a couple of or I think it was only one, but I got this screenshot here. Here we go. I saw this online. AR manufacturer will only sell to law enforcement that refuse to enforce unconstitutional restrictions. Apparently, this was CMMG, and what they really said
Yeah.
was they're only going to sell their weapons to law enforcement in the same configuration as the citizens of that state. I thought that was an interesting story that just popped up. What are your thoughts on this?
So I'm definitely for that. The Second Amendment was created so that we, the people, will have the same type of technology as the government. The government doesn't get better stuff. It just allows us to be able to protect ourselves against tyranny. So I'm definitely for them. I use CMMG. I have some of their stuff. They're a great company, and I was very happy to see that they're doing what they're doing. And I really hope other gun manufacturers, ammo manufacturers. I hope other ones follow in their footsteps.
Yeah, because it seems like it's working the opposite way that it's supposed to, right? It's like the right to bear arms, the Second Amendment. I tell my followers all the time. A lot of people think it's about self-defense, and it kind of is, but not really. It really was created to combat some type of tyrannical government power entity where you'd have to be well equipped. That's what well regulated means. It doesn't mean regulated like
Right,
the FDA. It means well equipped. And so if
right,
a government has a tank, you should be able to have a tank, right? If a government has a fully automatic rifle, you should be able to have a fully automatic rifle. That's well regulated. Um, so what's happening is the manufacturers are now the private manufacturers are saying, okay, fine, we're not gonna sell you, the government, a weapon that we can't sell to an American citizen because we understand the Second Amendment, and apparently you don't. So I think that that's kind of the right direction.
No, I agree. Like I said, I really hope that other gun manufacturers and other, I guess, gun industry companies follow in that in CMMG's footsteps. I think
Yeah,
it would be fantastic, and I
this is
think it would also force law enforcement to rethink whether or not they will confiscate guns and unconstitutional actions against the civilians of that state.
yeah. Yeah, see, like, so for the layman, this is probably what you guys are thinking. Or actually, maybe this isn't what you're thinking. This is what you should be thinking. Why do you need a gun? You need these ones, handguns for muggers, rapists, and carjackers. Shotgun for burglars and home invasions. Hunting rifle to put food on the table, and then I know it's cropped out, but fully automatic or semi-automatic like AR-15. That's the Second Amendment, and I don't like to nitpick about it, but I do want people to understand that the Second Amendment, right, the right to bear arms shall not be infringed for the purpose of a well-regulated militia, right? That's what it means. That's what it's for. There was this great Charlie Kirk clip that I saw the other day where he just spot on said it very, very eloquently and articulately. But also, the Second Amendment, the right to self-defense is actually under your right of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And because we should be able to have guns, you should be able to use them there. So I've gone over this, several times, but I think that in the 2A community, they 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 message things a little improperly, or they go with this, this false definition. And if we were going to be well informed, that's like well regulated for your mind, well equipped to talk about these things. What do you think what would you grade the Trump administration's 2A scorecard so far?
Um, Not good. Uh,
I wouldn't say awful. I wouldn't say great. I would say sort of
yeah, yeah. I think that the Trump administration's two-way stance, especially coming off of the first, uh,
first term was bad.
his his first term was horrible. This has
Yeah,
been better, but
better.
you know, I do like that the new ATF director has come out swinging in favor of the civilian world
Yeah.
and saying that they're going to restore some sanity. Now, I do want to see things like the NFA repealed. I would
Hmm.
love to see national reciprocity passed. So it would be, there's a lot of lip service that sounds good.
Hmm.
I heard Trump speak. I heard Trump speak in 2015, I believe it was, at the NRA show, and how he's the greatest friend of the Second Amendment. And boy,
Yeah.
was I disappointed. So that said, like I said, with the new ATF director, it would be really nice to see some actual regulations, repealed, if you
Yeah.
will.
No, I agree with you. I'm trying to find this the I believe it was they brought in Todd Blanche and they were gonna grill him on 2A, and there was some there was some talk about how the rule changes. There's still some, pistol brace squishiness in the rules. But no, the new ATF is it the ATF director or the yeah he seems better.
Yeah,
He seems better, and he seems like he's going to at least move us in the right direction. And I think that Trump, I would have given him an F or a D minus on 2A for his first term. But I do like that the thing I like about Trump is I think he really does listen to his base, and I think that even if he personally isn't there on 2A, I think that he would be moved more to A by listening to his base, as opposed to like what the Democrats did. I mean, I just pulled up this before you got on. I don't know if you were watching, but if you look here, the Democrats voted only 13 out of 13 out of what is that, 211 voted on the Stop Insider Trading Act and Voter ID Act, right? But if you look at here, the math on that, or actually, I lost that screen, but that's only 6%. That's 6% of the Democrat Party that voted for these two pieces of legislation on issues that are over 80-20. So if Trump has an issue that is more 80-20 or 90-10 on his side, even if I don't think that he personally is super duper pro 2A. I think it's low on his priority list. He will at least move in that right direction.
I mean, it would be good, but to get anything passed, we got to get rid of John Thune and the spineless Republican Party
Yep.
in Congress and the Senate. So, I don't. It's nice that Trump has become a little more relaxed with his 2A stance, and like I said, Todd Blanche of the ATF now is coming out swinging, which is great. But if we're going to get anything passed, the Republican Party has to actually grow a spine, which
Yeah.
doesn't look like they're going to be doing anytime soon.
Well, I do like that. So I do like the primary record this year. Right. I think that we did a lot of good moves in the primary, but again, that means nothing if we don't win in the general. But let's say we do win in the general. I think that the new Congress would be a lot better than the current one that we have. I think it was just yesterday or the day before I was talking about how I'm not a big fan of Johnson, right? Not him personally, but he doesn't have the Nancy Pelosi crack the whip, leader mentality. And John Thune, same thing.
Right.
If you're going to be a leader, right, you need to be able to get your people in line, right? And it seems like the leadership in the House and the Senate, neither of them really have a priority to do that, right? They have more of a priority to talk about why it's the Democrats' fault. We're the majority, dude. If we're the majority, I'd take your excuses and kick them down the road. So we'll see what happens with that. Yeah, we had people in the chat
Yeah,
say,
definitely. I mean, yeah, there. We have some good people who won their primaries, and it'll be interesting to see. I'm very confident in that Brandon Herrera is going to win his race.
"Oh, he's going to.
Um,
I'll make sure of it."
yeah, yeah, yeah. Brandon's a buddy of mine, and I've stumped for him because he gets a lot of flack for being anti-Semitic because of his stance on Israel, which
Yeah,
is, he doesn't want to send any American money to any foreign nation, which
I'm fine with
totally
that.
fine, and
I'm fine with
yeah,
that.
totally fine with that. So I would love to see Brandon in the house and see what kind of crap he can stir up because that's what he does best.
Yeah. I
Stirs the pot and get things done.
I had him on. He was my last guest on my last channel. Now we're on LFA, and we're doing it over here. But the first question I asked him, I go, "Hey Brandon, why do you hate Jews?" Right? But I told him before we started, I go, "I'm gonna ask you this." I go, "It's a joke," because like and not only are you in the 2A community, you're obviously in the Jewish community. I think that a fair criticism of Jews, and I get why they are like this. I get why they're so defensive. I get it. I completely understand it. But a fair criticism of them is they tend to overreact when somebody doesn't support them 100%, right? And it's like it's guys, like he's not your enemy, right? If Brandon Herrera says I don't want to give any foreign aid to any country, and Israel is in there because he means any country, that's not that's not anti-Semitism. That's not Jew
Right.
hate. And obviously, he's really good friends with you. He's good friends with a lot of people that I know. I know he's not anti-Semitic, right? I know he's not, and it just seems like and like I said, I think that I don't want to speak for the Jews, but I think that the reason is because of all the things that the Jews have gone through historically. They're very on the edge because they think that at any moment, then people are going to turn on them. And the analogy that I use is it's like if you're a person that got cheated on by every single person you ever dated, and then you dated somebody who wasn't cheating on you, but then they like went out and they left their phone, like you'd be like, "Are you cheating on me? Are you cheating on me?" It's like, no,
Right.
no, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not that last person. So
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think it's a Jewish mentality.
Yeah.
that's kind of ingrained in our being. I'll never forget. I kind of went off on my parents a while back because it was a Friday night in Miami. Some Jewish guy was walking home from temple and he got stabbed.
Mm.
I don't remember if he was killed or, but he got stabbed a couple times, and immediately the whole Jewish world just, oh, it was an anti-Semitic attack. You know, they're attacking Jews, and my parents were on that bandwagon. And I basically turned to my parents. I'm like, you have no idea why why this guy stabbed him. It could have been a drug user, it could have been a guy looking for money, or it could have been an anti-Semitic attack. But to immediately jump to the conclusion that it's anti-Semitism, end of the story, it was a druggie who was looking for money for a quick fix, and it had nothing to do with anti-Semitism. And it's a big pet peeve of mine that a lot of Jews automatically jump on the
Yeah, the anti-Semitism thing.
anti-Semitic train,
Yeah.
when like, take a deep breath. Let's take a step back. Let's assess the whole situation and figure out what's really going on.
Yeah,
So
I see this happening with JD Vance, right? I could be wrong. I've already said I'm open to anything, right? I see that what I see with JD Vance is I think that I don't like him for 2028, right? But I also don't think that he hates Jews. I really don't, right? I don't think that he's anti-Semitic. I think that he's a post-liberal. I think that he's a post-liberal moderate and he doesn't care about Israel. And there's a difference between not caring about Israel and not liking Israel. I think that JD Vance isn't pro Zionist, right? But I don't think he's anti Zionist. And then when I see people attacking him, I make that argument and they say that I'm defending him. And I'm like, no, I just told you I don't like him for 2028 because he's not Trump. It's my motivation has absolutely nothing to do with Israel or Zionism. I want somebody that's going to move the MAGA agenda forward, and their foreign policy should be peace through strength. And if you're a jihadist, we're not gonna we're not gonna try to give you a back massage. We're going to bomb the f out of you, and then we'll try to negotiate after that, like Trump has done. Some people don't even like Trump's policy, but either way, I think that JD's would be worse. But yeah, I think that I think that we everyone needs to take a breath every once in a while, especially in the Jewish community. But somebody in the chat was asking about. Oh, by the way, guys, I saw somebody say something about low volume. I just looked on my phone and I turned my mic off. I hear it fine, so turn your volume up. Somebody was talking about this Supreme Court taking up the challenges to the AR-15 bans. What do you think about this?
I mean, it would be nice to actually have Supreme Court, look at a Second Amendment case, which they rarely do.
Well, let me read this real
I
quick.
think,
So I'll read this real quick so
yeah.
we can actually go over the story on the screen. So the court agreed to take up a pair of cases challenging local and state laws outlawing AR-15s. One involves Cook County, Illinois, and the other centers on Connecticut. They'll hear arguments. The case is weighing the legality of laws restricting access to certain types of firearms. The Supreme Court recognized for the first time the Second Amendment. So the Connecticut AR-15 ban would be the Connecticut law that makes it a crime to possess so-called assault weapons, which don't exist, including
Mhm.
semi-automatic rifles. And then I know I'm only giving you guys a summary because me and Yehuda, we know about this. And then the one in Chicago enacting its ordinance to ban assault weapons nearly 20 years ago. Okay, so I think that we would agree on this. There's no such thing as assault weapon. Assault is an action. Assault, you can't
Yeah.
unless I mean unless you just like hit somebody with your gun. There's no such thing as an assault weapon. But the from my understanding, the way that they have categorized this rule, because there's no laws, there's only weird rules, is a semi-automatic rifle that has a certain features like a pistol grip and accessories and over 10 rounds. Am I getting that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on that whole Supreme Court thing, and how do you think it's going to go?
I mean, the AR-15 is the most commonly purchased and used and owned rifle in the country.
Yeah.
I don't remember the exact number of how many are in circulation, but it's in the millions.
Yeah.
So, it would be like I said, it would be very nice to see the Supreme Court shoot those down,
I think they
pun
will.
intended. Shoot those down and give the people of Cook County. Look, my wife's from Cook County. I hate going over there because the gun laws are so draconian. In Connecticut, I've been to a couple times, but I try to stay away from the East Coast as much as possible. But it would be nice to see the Supreme Court take up these cases and rule in favor, saying, a ban on AR-15s or your configuration of an AR-15 is unconstitutional because it is the most commonly used rifle in the country.
You know what? I think that um it's the Ruger 1022 that's pretty much the exact same thing as the AR-15, right? But only in the different configuration, right? Am I getting that right? Is
No, the Ruger 1022. Um, I mean, yes, it's a semi-automatic
yeah, it's
rifle, but it's not necessarily an AR platform.
it's not an AR platform. What I meant is when you wanted to see a visualization of what the left wants to call an assault rifle, functionality wise, the Ruger 1022 is very similar to the AR-15 in that it's a semi-automatic that shoots 226, right? And if you look at
No, Ruger 1020 shoots 22
which one,
caliber.
why am I thinking which
Much,
which rifle am I thinking of
are you
that
thinking
has
about are you thinking about the Mini 14 maybe?
maybe I am, yeah. No, I think you're right. Mini 14. I don't know why I thought Ruger 1022. Here we go. Yeah. Is it the Mini 14?
Yeah, the
Okay.
1022,
Yeah, yeah. No, I had a brain
the
fart.
1020, yeah,
So this would
yeah, all
be
good.
I guess you could call it the same functionality of the AR-15. And the only difference essentially is like the chassis and um the magazine capacity. So how is this this has the same functionality of a quote assault weapon, same exact functionality, meaning it shoots the same bullets and it cycles the same way, but the left will have you believe that this is not an assault rifle, but the AR-15 is an assault rifle. And that's where I just like in my autistic brain, I'm like, this doesn't make sense to me.
I mean, it makes sense to me in terms of the fact that if you listen to all these politicians and all these liberal pundits across social media talking about guns, they know nothing. They do not understand a thing. I mean, how many times did you hear a politician coming out saying, "Yeah, we must ban AR-15s because they shoot 7,000 rounds a second."
Yeah.
You're like, dude, shut up. Like, you're so like it makes sense that the AR-15 platform, really it's the M4 that the military uses.
Yeah.
So the AR-15 is the civilian version of it. It's a rifle that the military uses. So if it's the military use,
They
then
call it a weapon of
military
war.
arms, right? Exactly. The weapon of war shouldn't be allowed to be owned by the civilian market. But in reality, I mean, it's just dumb
Yeah.
because again, they don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, well, then if you give them an inch, they'll take them out. I mean, they could say that the sidearm is a weapon of war too. The military sidearm, which is
Yep.
what it used to be. What it used to be, what the Sig M17, and I think that now that's the Army.
It's the
They have a
M17.
different they have a different one
Yeah,
for
I think.
different branches.
Yeah,
But that's what I'm
yeah.
saying.
It's
It's like
it's again.
yeah, you got to what we need to be able to do, and I hope the Supreme Court does this, right, is make the distinction to the functionality of a weapon, right, has nothing to do with the fact that it makes it more or less like dangerous. And so all arms are kind of created equal. And that's what the Second Amendment means, right? So, because I mean, then it's just a slippery slope where we just keep going all the way down, like the UK does, where they go, okay, now we're gonna start making the tips of our knives more dull because people are stabbing people. We got rid of the guns, and now people are getting stabbed with sharp tipped knives. So we've dulled the tip of our knives, and that's the thing that they want to do. They want to keep withering away and bringing you down. That's why I wanted to show the picture of the Mini 14, because the functionality of it is the exact same as what they think an assault weapon is. But what they want to do is they want to say the difference is this one's scarier looking and it has a magazine that holds more bullets. That's not why they're doing it.
Right.
They're doing it just so they can go a little bit at a time and take it away a little bit at a time. My mic
Yeah,
is
I mean,
my
I
mic is
think.
way too low. Sorry. Here, how's that?
Oh no, I just think it's interesting to.
That's probably better. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I just think it's interesting too. Like I said, how many liberals who are calling for gun control and gun confiscation and all these things, if you ask them what AR stands for, will tell you it's assault rifle or automatic rifle,
Yeah.
right? I mean, when they can't take 15 seconds to go to Google and find out it stands for Armalite
Armalite, yeah.
rifle, then right, like how do you argue with them? How do you obviously my first reaction to them is you're just an idiot.
Mm.
It's that simple.
Well, yeah, that's the other, and you're talking about it earlier, how it's like the left doesn't know anything. I feel like we're seeing the same thing with like the Candace Owens cult with the Charlie Kirk assassination, where it's like you guys don't know anything. Like you're opining on stuff that you like a 30-06 would blow somebody's head clean off. No, it won't. And we're just seeing the people that don't actually know trying to make laws, right? So we need people like Brandon Herrera in there, like you said. Somebody said, so let Jew talk.
Absolutely.
The way that was worded, let Jew talk. Like, okay, fine, sorry, jeez, no, I didn't mean to be anti-Semitic. This is like I do my show like people give me that criticism all the time. They're like, "You talk more than your guest." I'm like, "Yeah, it's my show. I do it like Joe Rogan, but I mean, like,
Yeah.
if they want to, if Yehuda wants to interrupt me, he can. I'll shut up. But I have a talking problem. That's why I do this.
No, it's
Anyway,
I'm not offended. It's fine.
yeah. No, I try to keep it. Last night I did Gary's show Paramount Tactical, and like Gary he literally texted me and he goes, "Hey bro, let the girls talk." And I was like, "I got you." It's like I have to stop myself. I'm just my brain goes a mile a minute, so I just keep talking. Yeah, man, I think I got the Supreme Court case. I don't know when that's exactly coming up. There's one more page that I wanted to. I don't know if you're following the Firearms Policy Coalition, and they got some good updates on 2A News. I haven't looked at it today, but let's see what they got going on. And if the Firearms Policy Coalition, essentially they just sue for pro Second Amendment cases, or they
Yeah,
hope to.
I love the Firearms Policy Coalition because they are so the NRA does nothing. Gun Owners of America, they do amazing work, but they do it all in suits and ties. Um, they're the gentleman boxers. And then you have the Second Amendment Foundation, which is they're more the suit and tie guys. And then you have FPC, which is uh, gloves come off, bare knuckle boxing, fight to the death, and they know they're going to win. So
Yeah.
FPC is, I mean, they all do amazing work. Those three organizations that I just mentioned, and they work well. And they're getting things accomplished. But FPC is more along the lines of bare knuckle boxing, and they don't care about taking a few hits to the face, and then it just makes them stronger, and I love it.
Yeah, no, they're definitely colorful in their in the way that they do this stuff. I was just scanning to see if I could find the Supreme Court case, and I'm not seeing that, but I am seeing this where was it? It was just right here. Something else, something about, yeah, here we go. So this looks like it's the DOJ has filed a motion for a preliminary injunction in its lawsuit against the U.S. Virgin Islands gun laws, saying the territory's magazine ban is glaringly unconstitutional. And what we were talking about earlier, for the people watching the show that aren't like super familiar with like the assault weapons categories, classifications, et cetera, et cetera. And it says right here, for foregoing reasons, the plaintiff respectfully requests that the court issue an injunction from enforcing any prohibition, possession, receipt, purchase, sale, or transfer of magazines that hold 30 rounds or fewer. And that's what they try to do. So what they try to do is they try to say that you don't need 30 rounds, right, for hunting. The Second Amendment,
Right.
like we said earlier, is not about hunting.
It's not. Yep.
That's the problem, right? So like I said, that's why you have to be able to message what the Second Amendment is. If you don't understand what the Second Amendment is, if you're not fully well versed on it, then when a politician says you don't need 30 rounds for hunting, you might go, that makes sense. No, it doesn't. Because the
Right.
Second Amendment isn't for hunting, it's for fighting a tyrannical government or protecting the homeland from an invasion. So you have to have the same capacity as the military.
Yeah, no, 100%. In the gun world, we try very hard not to use high capacity magazines, which is what the liberals use. They're like, oh, everyone should have standard. Well, my standard capacity magazine for an AR is 30 rounds. That's not high capacity for me. That's
Yeah.
a standard mag. So, like you said, right? It's the language that we use that can determine whether or not people will understand and how we make a difference when you have a clear calling and understanding of what the Second Amendment is.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, that's it. It works like this with everything, man. I think that the problem I'm seeing across social media, right, not just on 2A or 1A, it's a bunch of people that don't know what the hell they're talking about things, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine. It's your First Amendment right. You have the right to your opinion, et cetera, et cetera. But I also have the right to call you a moron, right? Like, and this is why if you ever see me in like a mechanics like forum or something like that, and I just start going, actually, the carburetor pushes the gas through the thingy. I don't know what I'm talking about. It's one of the things that I don't know, right? I'm not super well into engines and mechanics and automotives. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I know that, right? So the problem is there are so many people who would be in that same situation, and they would go to ChatGPT and they would find out something about a carburetor, and then they would just jump in and pretend like they're an expert. And that's the problem. Like, I am 100% an expert on firearms. I am. You are too. We know what we're talking about. So when we see people who don't, it just bothers us. And it works with everything else too.
No, 100%.
Like, I mean, what about you're a Jew. I'm assuming, you said you recognize Passover and you're very religious. So I'm sure you understand when somebody comes and tells you about the Talmud, right? It's the same
Oh
thing.
God. Oh God. Oh my God, it's so much fun to see these people calling the Talmud, satanic and stuff like that. And what I love most is they will pick out one phrase from the Talmud and go off on that. But what they fail to understand or fail to do the extra research is that one phrase is debated, and that's the whole point of the Talmud, is that it's debated, and you have to get what the final decision is. You got to read all of the commentaries on that one phrase. But no, they take the phrase at face value without the back and forth between the rabbis.
Yeah, the way I describe the Talmud is, and I'm not an expert in it, but it's like what 1,700 pages. I call it a 1,500 year long Joe Rogan podcast, right? Where it's like
Yeah.
if you went back to episode 2023 and one of Joe Rogan's guests said something wild, right? And Joe Rogan was like, then if you clip that out of context and say that, oh, that's what Joe Rogan believes, that's kind of the way that you view it, right? The Talmud is essentially just a bunch of rabbis debating for 1,500 years, And that's and yeah, if you find out what they said or what one of the crazy ones said and you take it out of context, that's how people contextualize it. But I don't think that that's the same thing we were talking about earlier where it's ignorance. I think that is intentional framing, but you get my point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, man, I appreciate you coming on. We're gonna wrap it up here. But do you have anything that you wanted to add? Anything that you want to tell the audience about anything you got going on? What have you?
No, life has been pretty slow right now in the Pew Pew Jew world. I just released my 10th book earlier this year. So, um, it's definitely fun and I just if you want to follow me, I'm at the Pew Pew Jew across social media. The Pew Pew Jew .com is my website. Got some fun stuff. You can get signed copies of my books for your kids or for you, and just have a good time with it.
Nice. I got one of your books on the screen because I saw this little clip. Guys, check out
Yes.
this. This is Yehuda's book. It's called Bullet Points: The Reasons Why America Should Embrace Common Sense Gun Laws. Check this out. Did you really publish that? So obviously it's a joke, right? There's nothing in the book. But I actually wanted to ask you really quick before we get you out of here. Is that a real published book? Like, can you publish something with like basically nothing on
Yeah.
the pages?
Oh, you can get that signed copies on my website. You can get it on Amazon. Um, uh, I had just got Michael Knowles' Reasons to Vote for Democrat, and I'm like, this is such a great idea. It's such a good troll move. And then I realized that the gun industry takes themselves way too seriously. So I'm like, I would love to come out with a book that's similar, without any words in it. So what can I do? I'm like, oh well, gun control. Oh yeah, let's get all the reasons why we should embrace common sense gun law. And um, I put that book together in about 2 months. The
That's a
hardest
long
part was
that's a
coming
long
up with
time.
the yeah. Well, the hardest part was coming up with chapter titles. Um, so it is a. It, I had so much fun trolling the left and the right with that book, and the best is that video that you just played is a guy named Nishan who owns um, a gun range in Arizona, and I had no idea who he was. I had never heard of him until people started tagging me in his post that he did that on TikTok. People started tagging me, and like the next thing I know, like I'm talking with this guy. I was on his show. We had a whole Instagram live talking about the book, and that video went mega viral, and it was fantastic.
Well, you just gave me an idea, right? I think I'm just gonna do something similar just so I can add author to like my bio. Like I'll be like author. Just I want people to think
Yeah,
of it.
absolutely. No, definitely. Um, yeah, I have a good time with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Be like, let me like I don't know, just off the top of my head, I'll just think of a good book cover. I'll be like, people who have proven me wrong, and then just nothing on the pages. Something like that.
So yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All
It's
right.
it's fun.
All right, brother. Well, I appreciate you coming on.
Yep.
We'll have you on again sometime. Any Thursday where I got a free spot, we'll bring you on as a regular
Yeah.
guest. That's what I'm basically going to be trying to do is just, give the 2A to me, the Second Amendment is one of the most important things. Obviously it's the second thing they wrote. So I do my themes of the day, and unfortunately there's not a lot of new news in 2A, right? So
Yeah.
bringing on guests, I think, is a good way to at least get the audience a weekly dose of 2A and keep it entertaining. So I appreciate you helping me out with that. I will see you.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I will see you soon, and keep in touch.
All right, brother.
All right,
Good.
have a
Thank
good
you for
one.
having me.
All right, boys and girls. That was Yehuda. Um, Go ahead and give him a follow over at the Pew Pew Jew on X. I know my volume's going to do something crazy in a second, so let me just do that real quick before we do the shout outs. All right, get that. Gonna hang up, stay on page. Hang this up. Okay, now it should. Nope, now it just went way down. I don't know why the volume does that. It's a really weird. Um, but if I have a guest, my volume. There we go. Now I see it just corrected. If I didn't do that, it would have just shot. Like it would. You would have blown out your speakers if you're listening to this on some type of sound system. I think we're good there. Anyway, yes, thank you guys. Great interview. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Do you guys like the idea of bringing on guests every week for 2A Thursday? I think we're gonna try to get on Mike Mahalski, who's the owner of Sons of Liberty Gunworks, next week. We're gonna try to bring on Carl Higbee with Newsmax. He's a big pro Second Amendment guy. Maybe we'll try to get Brandon Herrera back on. We'll definitely try to get Gary from Paramount Tactical on. I think that the 2A, like I was saying, there's not a lot of new news in it. So I just wanted to try this out, and I think I'm gonna obviously take your feedback if you guys like it. Seems like a lot of people do. Yes, 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 yes. Perfect. Well, the show's for you, so it's really up to you, and I think that we have a consensus. Perfect. All right, it is 8:58. Sean Farish is coming up next. 2A Daddy is awesome. I'll try to get 2A Daddy. Sean Farish is coming up next with Ungoverned. And we're going to do Fan Mail Friday tomorrow. We didn't do it last week because we had a guest, but we're going to bring back Fan Mail Friday. So make sure you tune in for that. That is the best day of the week. We play a fun little game where we try to guess whether or not my, quote, fans, aka haters, are on the right or the left. So anybody in here from the Bongino Army, please come back and give that a look-see. It's a fun little interactive game with the audience. Okie dokie. So let's see. We got Ms. Mocha Powered, D. Brummett. Oh, we actually got 2 minutes left. Let's see if I can get any questions in here. All right. It's your show. Do whatever the hell you want. I will, honestly, but Zach, so do you expect the Supreme Court to decide Second Amendment protect ARs? Yes, I think the Supreme Court will come out. Now, I'm judging my assumption that the Supreme Court will rule in favor of the Second Amendment is because of what they have done so far. It seems like they have been more pro 2A than previous Supreme Courts. We're obviously not going to get the three liberal justices, but if Amy Coney Barrett doesn't screw up and join in with them, then I think we're looking okay. All right, so there's the chat. T Hodges, winky winky nod nod, great guy Gary, Bad Moon, One Sandman, Stassi's for real. That's Gina. P Year out. Sundancer, what are you having for lunch? I don't know. Probably a nap, maybe. Sneakin' McGroin, Deb Pollen. There it is, 9 a.m. Sean Farish, Ungoverned. Don't go anywhere. Here it is. See you later.